The Washington Commanders just got absolutely embarrassed on national television. And not only that, they had a bunch of major injuries. Let's talk about this game. 27-18. This was just start to finish. Besides the last few minutes in garbage time, was an absolutely atrocious game by the Washington Commanders. There's no positives in this game. I mean, like I said, the end of the game was okay, but what? The offense, awful. The defense was really, really bad. I mean, there were times they were okay. This was just all around a really, really ugly game for the Commanders. And on top of that, they lost a bunch of key players. And a couple of them at least are gone for the year. And some of them are going to be for, some more time. We're going to see. But just an absolutely pathetic performance. Offense, defense, special teams. I mean, we can start with offensively. Jaden was not good in this game. No, it was not all him. And the stats at the end of the day, 24 for 42, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. It's not awful, but he was not sharp in this game. Like, any throw over 10 yards, he was missing it. And it's not like the receivers were opened a lot of the times, but still, he's kind of missing it. And the ones that he did make, Noah Brown would drop it or whatever. I mean, one of them wasn't really a drop. The cornerback, I think it was Nixon, kind of pushed it out, but still, that was soft. You got to make that play if you're Noah Brown. And he got hurt with the groin injury. He was ruled out. John Bates was ruled. I mean, it's just, injury after injury. And listen, don't even get me started on this broadcast. It gave absolutely zero updates. Zero updates on the injuries on both sides. But, Jaden wasn't sharp. He was missing some throws, but the receivers also just weren't getting separation. The play calling was bad. Zach Ertz by far was the best player probably on the team. 6 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown, and almost all of that was not in garbage time. Terry McLaurin, I mean, he's got to play better. I mean, it's still, only a second game, back from the hold in, hold out. But, 5 catches, 48 yards, that's just not enough. And again, some of those were bad throws by Jaden, or maybe not necessarily bad throw, just he wasn't really open, so he couldn't really give him a chance. But there was a couple of times where, the cornerback almost jumped the route on a Jaden throw and, made the play. Don't think I'm being, overly critical of Jaden. Yeah, he didn't have his best game, but he's far, from the biggest problem. There was a lot of problems on this team. It just, Jaden wasn't the usual Jaden. He wasn't a star in this game. No one on the team was. Corey Krosky-Merritt, I don't know why they were giving him, few carries, 4 carries, 17 yards, double what Eckler was getting, double what Jaden was getting. And, Eckler, 8 carries, it sucks. Likely a torn Achilles, out for the season, probably his career. I mean, maybe he can make a comeback, but he's old, man, and it just really, really sucks. So really, really, hoping it's not a torn Achilles, but looks like it is. Jaden, I mean, this Packers, and I got to, caveat this by saying, like, the Packers defense is insane, but still, Jaden couldn't get anything going on the run side of it, and, part of it was just the Packers defense is so quick. Also, he was making a couple wrong reads. Debo was okay, 8 targets, 7 catches, 44 yards. Luke McCaffrey made a nice play at the end of the game and also came down with a 2-point conversion. So maybe that will develop into, get some good momentum into the next game. Noah Brown, 1 catch on 4 targets, awful, and he got hurt. Benson was fine. Jalen Lane, 1 catch, 4 yards. And, I mean, it's 4th and 7 or whatever it is, or maybe it was less, and you're doing a slant to Jalen Lane. Like, you couldn't think of anything else better than that, Cliff Kingsbury. And also, Terry McLaurin wasn't even on the field. That's what's ridiculous. That's what I heard. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't hold me to that one, but I'm pretty sure Terry McLaurin wasn't even on the field, and that is completely ridiculous. Your guy that you paid and you're not having on the field on a 4th down that you need to get, because at that point it was a long shot, but if you make that first down, there's a chance. I believe they were down by 14 at that point. That's kind of it on the offense. Dan Quinn, at the end of half, you're down 14-3, and it was 4th and 3, 4th and 4. It was 3rd and 4. You have 3 timeouts. You're letting the clock out, which I don't mind that, because if you don't get it, or you don't get it, whether it's a field goal, 4th down conversion, or you punt it, they're not going to have a lot of time on the clock. Whatever. But on 3rd and 4, 30 seconds left, call the timeout. Regroup, make your best possible play call. They did not do that. They rushed it a little bit, and then guess what? I don't even remember what the play call was. I just remember it being awful. And then you kick a 58-yarder with Matt Gay, who that is his biggest weakness. A 58-yarder. Did Dan Quinn forget he can't go for it like that? Or did he forget that he can go for it on fourth down? I don't know, because they were doing it all last year and it was working. And, today and, last game, I don't even remember if they needed to last game, but today didn't go for it early on. And that was an awful mistake. And they got extremely lucky that Brandon McManus missed his field goal, because they put him in position to make that play, or to get a field goal. And that was bad. And then later on, I can't remember what it was. It probably wasn't a good idea to go for it on fourth down in that other scenario, but Matt Gay misses a 52-yarder. The kicking situation is not good. I mean, the other kick he made was a 51-yarder or whatever, but still, you can't. I mean, 1 for 3, I don't care what, the distance is not good at all. The offense was bad in this game, and so was the defense. 18 points is not good, and especially when it's in garbage time. I mean, 15 points of those were in the fourth quarter, and maybe 7 of those were not in garbage time. Offensive line, man, Josh Connerly, I hate to say it, and obviously it's so early. I'm not saying bust or anything like that, because that would just be so premature to say. Yeah, maybe they could have picked someone else and there was maybe better players available, but I'm still, hopeful with Josh Connerly. But, man, it's time to maybe think about putting Andrew Wiley out there, because Andrew Wiley is a capable right tackle in this league. Josh Connerly allowed, 2 sacks last week and a penalty, and this week, at least 1 or 2 sacks and also had penalties. It was bad, man. It was bad. I know there was one where he had a penalty. It was a little soft, but it was a penalty, and Parsons got to him, or got to Jaden. It was bad, man. The offensive line was not helping out Jaden, and Connerly especially. Laramie Tunsil had a false start, his second in 2 weeks. That's bad. He needs to be better. That was a big issue with him with the Houston Texans last year. Real quick, a word from today's sponsor. A huge shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. So I did have a pick for today that ended up winning. It was Jordan Love over 175 yards and Jaden Daniels over half a passing yards, $10 for 19. My other play, I only put $5 on it. Didn't work, but overall profit, which is great. Use promo code Pedro on Sleeper and get a 100% match up to $100. Link in the description. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so now let's talk about the defense. The defense was very bad in this game, and they ended up clutching up a few times, but it was just so ugly this game that it made it seem so much worse than what it was. Quan Martin was getting beat. Marshawn Lattimore, absolutely terrible performance. He was playing like a scrub today. At least 2 penalties, maybe 3, getting cooked. Play after play after play. I don't got to say anything. He was awful. Mike Sainristil allowed a touchdown, missed some tackles. Not saying he was playing lazy. That's just the opposite of what he was. But there was a play where it was like the guy was in motion and he was just too slow to get there. You got to get there. So yeah, that was really bad. Mikey Sainristil, not that he had a bad game, because I don't fully know. He allowed a touchdown and had some other bad play, so assuming he didn't really have a great game. Armstrong had a sack, shout out to him. Will Harris missed some tackles, had penalties, and got beat on the time, the play he had a penalty, so he gets a can kick or not a game ball. Jeremy Reeves was in there. Jacob Martin had half a sack. Percy Butler had a nice special teams play, almost stupid, but got it. Jonathan Jones was getting beat a little bit. Trent Amos thought he played well, even though he got beat on that play. Good recovery, broke the pass up. Frankie Louvu, let's talk about Frankie Louvu, because I'm one of the biggest Frankie Louvu fans out there, and I was super happy when we signed him, and super happy, just super happy overall with his performance early last year, the whole season. He's been bad, man. He's been bad, and he ended up making one play-ish that was okay, but the dude is just, he is going for the big hit almost every time, and he's been missing. And that's been bad. I'd rather you get the tackle and he maybe get a yard versus trying to get the big play and forcing the fumble, which is not going to happen often. He was bad. Kinlaw was fine. I don't know. They were fine. Von Miller had a half a sack. Dietrich Wise, it sucks, man. He got hurt. Deron Payne. The run defense, honestly, the run defense was good. Like, that was the least of their worries. They had, or our worries. They had 4.5 yards per carry, but that's counting, all the receivers, which, that counts for a lot. In terms of the yards per carry, Savion Williams had 2 for 24, Matthew Golden 2 for 15, but Josh Jacobs averaged 3.7 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. So the run defense was good. Kinlaw and, Payne and Newton, those guys played pretty well. So shout out to those guys, rushing wise, interior, but, and maybe the edge, guys as well, but they weren't getting pressure, and this was a, beat up Packers offensive line. The defensive line had to play better. Linebackers, Tucker Kraft, kept getting open. It was bad. The scheme didn't look good. Joe Witt, not that he's on the chopping block, but he's got to step up, and it's crazy going after, after last week to this week, how poorly the defense played compared to last year. Come on, it's just super, super frustrating because they dominated last week, and then this week it was just a complete opposite. The secondary, Mikey Sanders still, Marshawn Lattimore did not play well. Quan Martin, Will Harris struggled at times, and then Frankie Louvu didn't play well. They got to play better, man. They got to play better, but I think it's more on the offense this game than the defense, because really the offense scored, 10 points or less? Yeah, 10 points before garbage time, and 27 points is bad, but my score prediction, and I was off, I'll admit it, the Commanders didn't come anywhere near it, but I predicted 31-27. You can win allowing 27 points. It's hard to, against a good team like this, it's hard to win giving up or only scoring 18 points, and again, garbage time points too, part of it. But that's it for today's video. We'll talk about it all this week and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.